You know what, Riddell? Honestly, I'm suffering right now, bro. I'm still traumatized.
Man, let's just talk about it, Lonnie. What's going on?
I'm gonna let you
Uh,
have it.
yeah,
What's your
I know.
issue, tissue?
I know Miles got some stuff to say about it, but I decided to for y'all, and also because I hate myself.
Oh my god, I love you,
See.
bro.
I decided to see Madam Web because I saw a
Mm,
lot of bad reviews, bro.
mm, 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 mm.
Appreciate you, Ken. I saw a lot of bad reviews. A lot of people were hate on it, and then our brother King Lion, he made a TikTok video I watched, and he's like he gave it a 7.5. I was just like, huh. He's like he gave it a 7.5. Everyone else is giving it like a saying it's the worst movie of all time. So I was just like, yo, if King Lion saying like a 7.5, like that's just like a way left. Like, so let me like make my own decision. Let me check it out. That was the worst decision I ever made in my life.
Damn, worst
That
decision.
was the worst decision I ever made in my life. I made some really bad decisions, but I care about movies a lot. I'm really diving into movies. Also, y'all, we're gonna be doing an Oscar show where we're talking about all the movies nominated for Best Picture. Watch out for that. But I decided to like go in there with an open mind. I had my own criteria too. It was based off of the plot, cinematography, music score, acting, and nothing hit higher than like a 3 or 4. There were so many things wrong with that movie that let me read into my notes. So there was spoiler warning ahead. So there was one point where a nigga got T-boned by a car.
Mm-hmm.
She pulls him out. It looks like he got a shot wound in the chest. That made no sense. How you get T-boned and your whole body's fine, but you got shot in the chest. Also, the main villain, if you watch it, his mouth does not match his words. It looks like at first it's like he's speaking a different language, but no, it's just a wrong voiceover with a terrible edit.
Mm-hmm.
So he's speaking English, but the words just don't match up. The whole movie. The whole movie. Uh, the plot didn't make a lot of sense. It was said specifically like, yo, he got bit by a spider. He only has poison and like super strength slash crawling on walls. How was he able to enter into her dreams and have a full conversation with her? How? How? They literally said, oh, he can't see into the future. He has no telepathic abilities. How was he able to enter into her dreams and have a full conversation?
Right.
The acting was like the blandest act. Like she had like a reuniting moment like in another dimension with her mother, because apparently, and we just found out like late in the movie, like, oh, she thought her mother always hated her, and then her mom's like, I really hope I'm doing my daughter proud, and then she's like, you are, mom, you are, I am so proud of you. Oh, I'm supposed to cry, and then she starts crying. That's what I was dealing with the whole movie. Miles, do you have anything to add?
Um, it just felt like a very forced movie. Unlike Lonnie, I didn't come into it with the mind of a critic. I got very inebriated by different sorts of substances to help me get through this movie. Um, it's just not good. I went and saw it with a female friend of mine. It's very hard to follow. It's hard to get into. A lot of the angling of the shots made it even hard to really
They
lock
were
in with
going
what
like
I'm seeing.
diagonal and stuff like that. I'm
The
like, what is
it
this?
it was bad. It was so bad. I looked up the budget because I was curious, as you know, maybe
$80 million.
for you to have that much funded behind a production, bro, it's and that's the exact number. For you to have that much funded behind a production, I just don't see how you felt like that was suitable to release to the public. As an
Also,
Go
also
ahead.
the villain is like the worst is like one of the worst villains I ever saw in anything. Like, so the main reason why he's doing this is because he keeps on having visions that like these girls are gonna kill him one day. And so he's
Yes.
like, and so what he does, he sleeps with this, like, this is like back in 2003. So like he sleeps with this lady like from like the Department of Defense or whatever, kills her, hacks into her computer, and he has like eagle eye basically. Like he can like search people through all cameras in New York City. He can date them back, like he can age their photos like 10 years and all this other shit. He finds the girls like right away in like New York, in like the New York train station. Tell me why the main character's like, I need to go to Peru, and he doesn't notice. So you can find girls within like a day going into like the New York train station, but this girl takes a whole plane to Peru and you don't notice? That made no sense. But then they also like 5 minutes later, he finds the girls through a gas station camera. Like, what kind of shit is that? And there was another. Oh, also during that like meeting in her dream while they were having a full conversation, she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And he's like, "Oh, I had a dream. I had a vision." She's like, "Doesn't explain why you're doing this though." He's like, "Because I have powers." He literally said, "I'm doing this because I have powers." He said that. That's his reasoning. Because I don't want to die and I have powers. That's the reason for your main villain doing what he's doing. It was just whack. The whole movie was whack. They made Sydney Sweeney look like a low-key school shooter. I don't.
Bro, it's crazy.
How did Batgirl get canceled, but that shit got pushed through? That's what I want to know.
It's crazy that Sony came out the woodworks, gave us Morbius. Shit was ass. Terrible, terrible movie. Then gave us Madam Web, and people are literally saying this is worse than Morbius. And now they're trying to give us Craven. And I'll be honest, bro. There's no hope. There's no hope. There's no hope when it comes to Craven, man.
Sony needs to just get out of the Marvel business as a whole. It's just too much of a. Because honestly, what it sounds like to me, I haven't seen Madam Web, so I'm not going to judge the picture. But I will say this: it just seems like Sony is really using the fact that they have the ownership rights to some of this content with Marvel and just using it as a money grab. Because I've not heard anything good about the product so far. Everybody says Morbius was trash. It was really lucky that Venom is going to be a part of the MCU because that probably saved it from any more debacles. I think Venom was probably the only good thing Sony's put out in a while. So if Sony doesn't really want to use the content that they have with Marvel to the best of their abilities, Disney, why don't you just buy them out? Just buy them out of their contract.
Well, I'll say this, J-Rob. Sony, every 5 years, they have to make some kind of Spider-Man thing. So obviously right now they're flooding the market with Spider-Man stuff. That's how they keep the rights.
Right.
Because they also remember Sony is making the Spider-Man video games too. Those make way too much money for Sony to legitimately. I don't know how much Disney probably could afford it, but financially it just doesn't make enough sense for Sony to give it up. Because they tried Fantastic Four, that flopped so badly that Marvel hopped on the chance. They were able to get most of the X-Men back. Obviously, they got Fantastic Four back and all that. So I think right now, I don't know how, unless they maybe the next, because even Spider-Man 2 wasn't really that good compared to the first one, in my opinion. But if the third video game flops, maybe that be Marvel's opening to get it. Because once they get Spider-Man back, they might be able to go full gore. I wonder if that's one of the reasons why Spider-Man's always going through it in the comics too, in terms of like what they do with him in the comics to kind of make Sony like, look, this just isn't good enough for you to keep, even though they rebooted Spider-Man again. So it's always been that kind of thing with Sony. So I wonder, I don't know what else Sony really has to do or for Marvel to be able to get the rights off of them. Spider-Man makes a lot of money for them.